Welcome to day 45 of 60 Days of Inspiration with Kathleen Gonzalez, and we're studying Living the Sacred Yes, Affirmations for Action by the Reverend Deborah L. Johnson. And we're 3/4 of the way through. It's pretty exciting. If anyone has another book that they're interested in covering in a study, let me know. Okay, today's reading, No Need to Formulate an Opinion. It is not necessary for me to formulate a personal opinion about everybody and everything. I transcend the temptation to express one, especially in matters that don't concern me. I stop speculating about what is in the hearts and minds of others. Quote, there are at least two sides to every story, and then there is the truth, end quote. I am only concerned with the truth, which is void of opinion. Spirit will reveal to me whatever I need to know. I begin each inquiry into what has happened with the premise that all things work together for good. My thoughts, words, and deeds are infused with the healing energy of compassion. This reminds me of the Four Agreements. And the Four Agreements are be impeccable with your word, don't take anything personally, don't make assumptions, and do the best you can. And so the two in particular, don't take anything personally and don't make assumptions, apply here. And I think the best advice I ever got was, it's none of your business. Which I may have gotten that advice a couple times. And I heed it really well now. I really do. It is not necessary for me to formulate a personal opinion about everybody and everything. I transcend the temptation to express one, especially in matters that don't concern me. And this is so great because basically having an opinion about something is very, very close to being right about something. And I know that being right about something is a piece that is connected to like codependence. It's sort of like if we're right and we want other people to agree with us, we're looking outside of us for some kind of recognition or acknowledgement. And if we just are inside of us and we realize we don't need to have an opinion, and maybe it's none of our business, then we can just stop and take care of the things we can take care of, which is us and what we're doing and where we're headed and what our thoughts are. I stop speculating about what is in the hearts and minds of others. Quote, there are at least two sides to every story, and then there is the truth, unquote. Which, that's what in the Four Agreements they talk about, don't take anything personally. And in that section, he talks about how pretty much everybody's in their own world and they're just doing their own thing. And it's also about not making assumptions. If we make an assumption about what they're thinking or what they're doing or why they did something, then, it's bound to be wrong. and because we're coming from our perspective and they're coming from their perspective. And then if we take it personally when somebody does something, it's because we've made an assumption about what they're thinking. And if we can just ignore all that part and just be with whatever happens, it's so much easier. I am only concerned with the truth, which is void of opinion. So the truth stands on its own, right? And it doesn't have anything to do with I believe it or don't believe it, or somebody believes it or they don't believe it. There's a lot of beliefs going around, but there are certain things that transcend that. Spirit will reveal to me whatever I need to know. I begin each inquiry into what has happened with the premise that all things work together for good. And that's the most important thing, is the mindset. If we go into everything saying, okay, there are no accidents, it's happening for a reason, a good reason, and there's some good to be had from this, and what is it? And we train our brain to do that, then our life is going to be way different than a lot of other people's lives. People who are looking for what's wrong all the time. And the brain will do whatever we ask it to do. If we ask it to look for what's right, it will. If we ask it to look for what's wrong, it will. And we get that choice to actually train our brain to look for whatever we get to choose, what we want to look for. And so if we're looking for good, if I begin each inquiry into what has happened with the premise that all things work together for good, my thoughts, words, and deeds are infused with the healing energy of compassion. So that's the other piece. Non-judgment, compassion. And if we're not judging and we just have compassion, then there's no blame, there's no judgment, and things can unfold, and we can live in a way where we get to fail and we get to do it again, we get to fail and we get to do it again, because that's how we learn and that's how we move forward. And I think one of the coaches calls it failing forward. So it doesn't have to be traumatic, or it doesn't have to be some kind of reflection on a lack of character in some way. It's just the willingness to give something a shot. If it doesn't work, you get up and you go again, right? So, and having compassion for others when that's the process that they're in, and for yourself, is super important. And I think that energy of compassion is what might carry us through. It's a heart energy, and our hearts can carry us through where our brains fear to tread. No need to formulate an opinion. So for today, can you just notice, what opinions are you carrying with you that really don't serve you? And what would happen if you let go of your opinion? Okay, see you tomorrow.